How's it going? I'm so excited. We're going to be interviewing someone else today, a very good friend of mine. They're going to be calling in any second. But I just wanted to remind you guys, make sure that if you haven't already, subscribe. These are coming out weekly. If you're interested in being interviewed, like definitely reach out to me. I would love to talk to people that I don't even know because right now I'm just bringing on people that I do know. But I love talking to everybody. And as always, I believe that no one is boring. Believe that we're all interesting. We all got something to say. We've all done something interesting. We're all low key inspiring somebody. We're all healing. We're all growing. And we've definitely already all messed up. So it's the things I love to talk about. But we're just going to hang out and we're just going to wait for my good friend Frazier to pop on any second now.
What's going
What's
on?
going on?
Long
Ah,
time. Yeah.
oh my God, it's been a while.
How have you been?
I've been good. How you been doing? Where are you right now?
I'm at the house right now.
At the house. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so it's been forever.
Yes, it has.
And I was like, I want
It
this
has.
to be because I know we're gonna talk about cool shit. So I'm like,
Yeah.
we just need to record because if not, we're gonna say it's just we just need to just yeah. Okay, so tell me everything because you've had so much going on and it's been a while since we last caught up.
Uh, um, I mean, a lot of things been in transition. Recording studio, working on some incredible hits. Just growing.
Hmm.
That's really been the goal brought up. And I remember last time we spoke, I think we was really just talking about you know just the transparent transition on just life itself.
Hmm.
So it's everything's been good though.
That's
Everything's been good.
amazing. I
So
mean, you have your own
yeah,
your own staff now, like, not just
yes,
because I know you had a studio, you always had the studio,
correct.
but now you have staff?
Yeah, I opened up another recording studio. So
Wow.
I have two studio. Well, actually three studios out here now. One, two. Then I co-own partner with another one that I co-own with. Yeah, just been growing. Have staff, production. I mean, you name it. It's growing. So
That's amazing. So who's on your staff? Like, do you have engineers? Is it, like, producers? Like, who have you decided to staff up with?
so full team. I have engineers, producers, singers, songwriters. Uh, right now, total of probably about 15 to 17 people on my
Wow.
team now. So
That's amazing. So you just
yeah,
call people in, like, as you need them?
correct. And I pretty much keep everybody busy. In this business, it's like the kind of the bigger your staff, the more things you can get done. Uh,
Mhm.
Especially with different potential on the team category from
Mhm.
artists that do. I mean, production that does pop, rock, and B. I mean, country, you name it. Like,
That's cool.
it, yeah, it's definitely been a game changer.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get further in my career. I had to expand, so start putting people. And now, can't complain too much about anything. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's gotta be scary, though. Do you feel like when you made that jump, like, was that scary?
So the first time, yeah, it was more like I noticed that I have a big heart, and although you have everybody on, and I'm not gonna say everything transition. I did have a a situation with some guys the first time bringing in the wrong and not,
Mhm.
really just watching my back. I was too worried, trying to make sure they was good. At the end, I um get taken out of his pocket. I had to step up. I had some mentors come in and direct
Nice.
me on how to in order, from doing background checks, showing exactly what need to actually clocking in and how to,
Mhm.
set up an actual payroll and that's
Right.
going. So yes,
Yeah, that's a
ma'am.
lot. It's a lot, and I
Yeah,
feel like
it
you
is.
need those people who are going to push you into learning more, you know what I mean? Like, need those people
Uh,
who are gonna they're gonna make things a little difficult for you because then you're
correct,
like, "Oh, I need to do this right." Like,
correct, correct,
because if not, then people just gonna get in, and
correct.
then as they become more
Mm,
successful, you can't foresee all the things that can come up. So you need those trials and tribulations to be like, "Oh, I have to be prepared. I have to," because in the future, it's not
correct.
gonna be these problems, it's gonna be a lot bigger, more complex problems.
Correct. Absolutely. Sometimes when certain situations happen and we kind of get an understanding of why things are happening, sometimes God allowed them troubles to get awakened, and it just may at that time was not my time because was not
Mhm,
prepared. And although you might seem like you have great look into like step it up to that next level. It's so I'm kind of glad that I did go through that transition versus into where I'm at now, where things are
mhm.
like bigger, and versus now it would have been a whole different situation. So
Oh, absolutely.
um yeah, everything's great though now. Everything's
That's
great.
good, that's awesome, yeah. I saw one of your reels, it was, like, people talk about the haters
Okay.
and it's like, I love that. I thought that was, like, super on point. It's like, yeah, absolutely, like, you need to be grateful, you know what I mean? And just,
Correct.
like, do your own thing.
You know what? I realized that some of my clients, you know, that I recently even got now, their music, we love your style, but we love the fact that we have an engineer, somebody that actually comes into us and guide us versus just saying, hey, it's about the business and it's about, of course, you got to take care of business, but you
Mhm.
know, having a solid foundation, it it it, it, it moves differently.
Mhm.
A lot of people on other things, and when certain things come, and they get, and it's definitely a blessing that I'm speaking into the people. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, totally,
Hmm.
especially in the music business. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why the music business is, I think, one of the most difficult, right? For sure. It's definitely up there,
Right.
but it is one of those things where it's like there is a lot of competition and there's a lot of, you know, you have a lot of people who it's basically kinda like low barrier to entry, so you have a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds, you know what I mean? And
Correct.
who are talented, but they might not have the same rules of engagement that you do, And so it's kind of the Wild West, like, you really have to lean on your connections, you have to lean on the people that you have to lean on, like, how you vet people because it can get
Correct.
really dicey really quick. You gotta have good, like, a good moral compass, and you have to have good instinct, um, and I feel like for sure you have to have thick skin.
absolutely. I mean, relationships is the key.
Mhm.
A lot of people, media, it makes it easier for some people, but work. Um, this business is cutthroat. You gotta really record in and just put music out. So you definitely need, the key, like I mentioned, building, having relationships.
Mhm.
That's to in this business, because you never know who can take you to the next. It's art though.
Mhm.
It's about painting a beautiful, being creative every day. Um, you know, some this music that we hear nowadays is therapy for a lot of people as well.
Mhm.
It takes a big place, in people lives. So, uh,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's
yeah,
definitely it's healing. It's absolutely, and I feel like regardless of what kind of music it is, it's all healing,
mm,
because music is one of those things that transcends it even transcends language, right? Like even though there's lyrics, most of the time, but even when there's no lyrics and it's just the beat, you're just feeling like that speaks to you. That's why I feel like for a
yeah,
long time, like English, you know, English language music,
correct.
it was still super popular all around the world because people still connected with, the production value or like whatever the beat was. And
Mm,
yeah, I mean, United States for a long time was kind of like the hub, but thankfully that's becoming more
yeah,
international. But totally, it's like
but
it transcends borders, you know?
yeah, yeah. I mean, true. What type of music, but um, if you really know like the channel where music comes from, it's it gets real deep. So that's why it's a very spiritual,
Mhm.
touching. Uh, um,
Absolutely.
it's definitely itself. So
Mhm.
sometimes you do got to be careful with what you bring. Just like it's just energy itself. It's what you. So
Mhm.
um, it's deeper than just into it though. If you really know, um, if you get one, like um, Lucifer himself. They say he was the moment he touched ground. The way to get to people was through music, and
Yeah.
it's a lot to it though. So you really just gotta, although you know it's it's art, but it's a lot of weird stuff too behind the scenes.
That's
So
true. That's true. I mean, I
yeah,
think it's definitely I mean, I feel like the that bass, right? That's like the original, right? Is just like the pounding of the drum, you know?
correct. There you go.
It's that sense of like the pounding of the feet on the ground and
Correct.
it comes from the bedrock of civilization, of like, of humanity, it comes from Mother Africa, right? Like it comes from the original place. And I feel like that's when we feel connection
Yeah.
to a deeper part of ourselves. But you're right. I mean, I feel like there's absolutely because music transcends, it's also
Mm,
universal and it's all, right? It is all. And what is
correct.
human nature but also all, right? We have the spectrum. And I feel like that's also, right, why you're going to resonate with some music and you're not going to resonate with other music, right?
Correct.
While maybe some other people do.
Okay.
It's like sometimes like I'm like I don't want to listen to anything sad. I'm not here to like do slow jams right now.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it all depends just on your vibe and your energy though. But music does matter, believe it or not. Um, if no matter where you at in life, what you do, something, you know,
Mhm.
it's just full of expression, full of emotion. It's just
Mhm.
it's like a high. It's
Mhm.
so
Yeah,
absolutely.
it is. It is a high, right? Like, what is being high? But it's transcending your body, right?
Yeah,
And when you can connect to that energy that goes beyond the physical self, right? You're
yeah,
in a high, you
yeah.
know?
For it's especially when it's relatable.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, or just not even. I have conversations with certain people doing with problems, and here I am and tuning in with certain songs. I'm like, what? Hey, this song's for you. You need to listen to it,
Oh,
or
I love that. Yeah.
Uh, but yeah,
As
it's
medicine.
definitely yeah. Oh yeah, of course,
Mhm.
healing source. But like I say though, at the same time, music business has been changing. Um, you different sounds are coming, which I love, and I love the culture itself. It's also a dangerous
Mhm.
business as well too. You know,
Mhm.
um, you just artists out here just making music for the culture, but it's behind people recently dying and
Mhm.
getting killed, and
Yeah,
just
for all the because there's stuff in the news, but, like,
mm,
for all the stuff that's in the news, like, how much do you feel like is not put in the news?
um like you know um dealing with like especially like what like they would say African Americans, um of you know we we don't get enough credit as far where it does lead people into good behavior and to bringing communities together, and people
Mhm,
that actually enjoy the, the meaning of being in the music industry. So most of the time, you know when you do hear about our culture, it becomes a killing or
mhm,
someone in jail. But um, we have um, more good. So I definitely feel like we don't really just get celebrated enough for actually what the culture, what we are, what itself.
mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. They don't realize that there's, like, a lot. I think in the news, it comes off as, like, these shady, seedy, like, deals that are happening with these rappers who are it creates this, like, sort of image of, like, just a pinpoint of the like, when you're looking at a needle, right? Like, just head on, like, nobody sees the whole thing behind it, and the fact that there's so
correct,
much more. It's just this idea of conflict and people murdering each other, right? And just, like, doing
correct,
these, shady deals or, like, trying to it almost it it's it's disrespectful for sure because it makes it look
yeah,
like you know, oh, the only people who try to get in this business, right, are people
hmm,
who think they can make it, but they're really just
correct,
hoodlums, right?
yeah,
Like,
oh
that's
yeah,
really how the
absolutely.
media paints it.
I mean, but there's some you know um I tell artists all the time. I mean, you gotta set your seed as how far you want it to grow. You
Mhm,
are gonna be here. You're gonna be in here for a long time. You got some people that's come into the game reasons, and of course, you know, but at the end of the day, I like to know what God has allowed in their life or their journey at that moment.
Mhm.
But so I really try not to get to another level of life. There's that's when a lot of growth should definitely is exists. Um, I mean, a lot,
Mhm.
of growth and transition differently with
Mhm.
you, your surroundings, the way you think, come a eye to the public. So when you get that, the best example there is for the people, and some people don't want to control that power.
Mhm.
So when they get that power, they feel um, they forget where they at, not
Mhm.
even forget where they come from. So
Mhm.
it makes a big difference, man, you when you know your role,
Mhm.
your gift. And a lot of people,
Yeah.
like I mentioned, a lot of people not know how to use their gift in a way. So
Mhm. Yeah,
um,
100%. It's an opportunity, and they don't tell the whole story,
correct,
they don't show that people are trying to survive and
correct,
are trying to tell their story, and they're trying to grow, and you know what I mean? There's more than just the end of their life. It's everything that
yeah,
led to that point that they've been, and there's something so beautiful in that they could be expanding on,
correct,
right? I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's a great story
correct,
if you're looking at it from a news perspective, but what's
mm,
keeping the news from being able to just dig a little deeper? But it doesn't feel like that, right? It doesn't feel like the news
correct,
does the take the effort to just ask a couple more questions. Like, that's it, just a
mm,
couple more questions, you
correct,
know?
correct,
Like like, who was this person? How were they a part of the community? What were they trying
correct, correct,
where did they come from? What's something that how you would describe this person? And,
correct,
what do you feel like led to these events? I mean, I feel like there's just so much that you can learn about within like 2, 3
can
questions that creates an even more, you know, beautiful story without
correct,
sacrificing like a headline, but
yeah,
it just feels wrong, the way that they go about it.
correct. I mean, I just at the end of the day, uh, like I say, not anybody. Some people do gotta make better choices on their actions. Um, but at the end of the day, nobody in this world has any room for anything, because at the end of the day, no one's perfect. Any human
Mhm.
this on this earth, we find a way to actually learn to stop just more sourceable to understand that you know this is where this person is coming from. The world can definitely become a better. You gotta have good energy. You gotta have bad energy as well too.
Mhm.
Gotta be a balance. So, but
Mhm.
it's all, hopefully it all come together soon. So
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I struggle with that too sometimes. It's like you have to look at things kind of in like the cosmic balance of things. It's like, okay, like realistically, there's
correct.
always going to be bad, right?
Oh yeah. Oh,
And that
facts.
yeah, and that can drag you down, sometimes when you're just like,
Mm,
okay, like what are my options?
yeah.
And you kind of it's like you have to be in that knowing in order to sometimes like just move forward and just be like, because sometimes we get caught up, we want to be like, that's wrong, that shouldn't be, that shouldn't
Yeah.
exist. Like, why does that keep happening?
Correct.
Like for me, the only time like I get like I really lose my cool in front of my kid. It's like, and he'll, if he were here, he'd be rolling his eyes. But it's eh, like things that have to do with like inequality or like
Correct.
coded racism. Like that
Hmm.
shit just gets me, especially because, we live in a world where, people aren't gonna say outright what they feel. You know what I mean? So it comes in these little, and
Yeah.
when it's so obvious, I just get so, oh my God. And I have to like apologize to him. I'm like, I'm sorry. I shouldn't like, be venting like that. And he's like, it's okay. But the reality is like there's
Yeah.
always gonna be these distractions.
Mhm.
The question is like, how do you want to move through it? How do you
Correct.
want to, like the haters, right? Like when you were
Yeah.
talking about in that video, it's like, how are you going to move through the distraction? Because if
Correct.
you give it attention, you're giving it power, you
Correct.
know?
Absolutely. Control your destiny.
Hmm.
Um, I learned that some hang on to things that I felt like I needed, but I didn't need it, and I felt
Mm,
like from me, I kept like chasing it and chasing it. But to through my journey, I had to say, you know what, control what I can control. That
mhm,
that keeps me balanced. That keeps me where I'm focusing on where I need to be going.
mhm,
And the key to life with anybody is to build your own kingdom. Um, I get that sometimes some people don't know, and even talking to some of my clients and people that I mentor is just like, I mean, very got potential, got um creativity. I have to ask the question is like, where do I start? It's like I'm following this person, this trend. God gave us the mind to be able to create. He gave us walk in our own desire of our own journey for us to be able to be great there. But people gotta tune in to that next level spiritual journey, um, which that's a whole different conversation. It's
it's a
it's
very real
it,
conversation.
it yeah. It's deep though. A lot of people don't understand how energy and this works. So a lot of people are just here just to be here,
Mhm,
and then people are understanding and are in tune to like what's really going on with themselves.
mhm,
Like a woman and a human can create another human.
mhm,
Think how much more, what else you can create, what else you can do. You gotta be able to tap into it, and once you understand that and you protect it, the shit start happening
mhm.
for you. So
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think a lot of it, you touched on a lot of cool stuff right there because I feel like when you want to start doing better, there's that. I love how you said create your own kingdom because it's the perfect metaphor for how to operate in your life if you want to create success. You have to
correct,
create your own kingdom. And in order to do that, you have to have vision, you have to have clarity of mind, you have to have
correct,
focus, you have to have intention. And you're right, like some people have like better intuition towards that stuff than others. And to me, intuition and like our different spiritual gifts and our gifts in general are like keys. I feel like
yeah,
everyone has access to everything, You know what I mean? Theoretically, everyone has
Mm,
access, but some keys are like right in our pocket, right? They're
correct.
very accessible.
Yeah,
And then there's other
absolutely.
keys, yeah, that right? And then there's other keys that are
Yeah.
like behind a trap door, that's
Mm,
in an enigma and a thing, and
correct.
it's harder to get there. And we could do it if that's really what we want,
Correct.
but like what are the keys that we possess and learning to leverage that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. There's there's like keys that, like you say, it's right in our pocket. I believe there's a key that each individual has of their own else can access but you. But
Mhm.
don't to get to that key, it's not, you gotta go through some trials and some self
Mhm.
healing and sit back
Mhm.
within. Not only that, because if it was easy, I think the world would definitely be different. But I know that like doing the journey of self healing or getting able to say, finally, I got my crown on and I'm
Mhm.
sitting high. I'm a whole different transition in my life versus what the world is saying it should be a picture. You know, um, some energy also certain people. You know, and but that's got to tap in within themselves. Um, some people are too comfortable.
Mhm.
People just here. They don't want to take them steps, not knowing that they're a big part of this world.
Mhm.
Like I said, you just got to tap in yourself,
Mhm.
and it definitely leads you a long way.
Yeah, I feel like even people who on the outset they look very comfortable and they it almost looks like they're leaning into the routine of their life and like not really challenging themselves. I feel like
Correct,
they have a lot going on inside themselves. I feel like, you know what I mean? Because by virtue of life, every day is going to be a little different or something, you know what I mean? So they're going to experience,
correct,
uh, some form of growth in themselves on their own in their own way,
correct,
you know? But it's just not on
correct,
anybody else's level.
correct, correct, correct. Um, times, times, some of my friends, most of the time, when they be asking, man, how do I get, like, what's the first step? And I
Mhm.
tell them sometimes you gotta take yourself to a different element. I know we're comfortable for the things that are in front of us, and that's all we know. But this world is
Mhm.
too big still to just say, hey, this is it. Things that people um take for granted that's around you. Like for me, my when I need to calm down is being by water.
Mhm.
Just the form of just the moon. Going outside and just concrete.
Mhm.
It's the little things. But
Mhm.
we got all these other things that people. I'm not saying not to have a go out and have a good time or anything, but these energy battles and spiritual battles, it's right in front of
Mhm.
your face, like you say. But we got
Mhm.
alcohol, we got drugs, we got I mean, whatever you
Mhm.
just
Mhm. Lots of distractions. We got women, we
yeah,
got men. Right?
correct, correct. But
Yeah.
really take time to really take the time to understand, like you say, the keys is right on. One of my friends was going through a big battle with herself, and emotionally, and he was drunk. Gotta go to the bar, get drunk. So I just told him, I say, like I say, yo, hey, meet me, bro, because it was like a everyday thing, and I kept,
Yeah.
and the more it to me, I felt like I wasn't pulling his energy in me, but I knew where his energy needed. So I was like, yo, like,
Mhm.
hey, come on, meet me at the park. There is kind of like it's like fully nature, like
Mhm.
no growing extra trade grass, none of that. This little park is actually like a park where it's good for peace. Just bring a blanket, and
Mhm.
we sat down, and now he's after our whole talk, and showing him the understanding of meditating, he's like, yo, different. And I could tell,
Yeah.
because even when he came to the studio recently, tell his mental and his space and his spirit was in his began. He said now he understand praying more,
Mhm.
understanding to a little bit more versus you know putting all these other things into his body just a moment at a time.
Mhm.
So, but long story short though, Jesus right there. You
Yeah.
gotta just learn how to access it, and learn how. Once you know how to use it, it'll take you far. So,
Mhm. Yeah,
you know,
100%. I feel like, man, when it comes to it is crazy how when we're on our journey, we have a tendency to make it harder before we make it easier,
yeah,
you know?
absolutely,
And it's difficult when we're somebody who has gone through that
correct,
and we see other people struggling, and
correct,
you have to, especially if you have, like, a big network, you have to learn how to, also use your own energy, right? Like, I
right,
love that it was, like, really clear for you, like, "I'm gonna help this friend out, like, I'm gonna help this
correct,
dude out," right? Because you knew, like, "Okay, like, I have to say something, I need to take care
correct,
and, like, let's have a community moment." Um Because then there's other people who, like, they aren't open to that. But it
correct,
is so amazing that when someone is open, when someone is ready, like, they're ready,
correct,
like, you see that shift in them immediately. It doesn't take work, and you don't
correct,
have to try and convince them in, like, a you know what I mean? Something that's gonna start taking energy out of
correct,
you. And that's a lot of times I feel
correct,
like, in that energy battle, in that spiritual battle that we're all facing every single day, is that energetic accounting is like, how am I spending my energy? And how am I
correct,
feeding my soul, but also like helping uplift others like in a meaningful way?
correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and you know what? Sometimes that like even myself, even like coming across you, a old mutual friend,
Yeah, I
often, and
know. Isn't that crazy? I was just thinking, I was like,
including,
oh
yeah,
yeah.
including pops himself,
Mhm.
meeting you guys, I knew that would grow, and it was a reason why, at the time, like, when the doors are open for me, to come back and forth, to be able to move around, and it was a definitely, know a lot that I needed, and I I just had to like basically figure it out in that moment at that time what was needed to um understanding, seeing things that especially that I really am, or when meeting other people on, different types of energy, and um it's it's definitely, like I say, has its journey. It's just up to you to find it. Um, everybody's up to you to understand your purpose, how to move, and how to use. Some people understand their purpose, and some people just
Mhm.
scared. Um, it's definitely one of them things where every stuff is like what I'm gonna do that's just gonna be better than
Mhm.
yesterday. I wanna grow today. How am I gonna be better? I mean, you gotta live life, have a little off energy sometimes. Because I tell people, even what you could sometimes consider, it's what you need. You know, it's what you need at times. It's not just consider bad energy. Now, bad
Mhm.
energy on some things is within yourself. On tensions would cause other situations to occur in your life. Bad energy, you know.
Mhm.
But but yeah, like one of my friends, he's starting to ask more questions. Uh, I'm people as well, that he could talk to, and he's also meeting up, in the process, of his healing, helping him out as well too, So, um,
Mhm. That's
yeah,
wonderful.
yeah,
That's beautiful. Like that's
uh,
I mean, like you said, you like hit the nail on the head, right? Like it's
correct,
about what you need and being
correct,
in that present moment, being allowing yourself to really truly be present and ask
correct,
yourself like, okay, why? Or like what does
correct,
this represent? Or what is this trying to tell me? Instead of really like a victim mentality. And that's
correct,
not to say that, victims don't exist, but it's about
facts,
how are you willing to show up in that moment,
correct,
and how are you willing to like respond to the
correct,
moment? How are you willing to show up for yourself? You know,
correct,
because yeah, shit's gonna happen and it's gonna suck and you're gonna go through your mourning phase, right? You're gonna cry about
facts,
it. It's gonna suck, and you should give yourself that time, but then
correct,
afterwards, like, what are you gonna do with that? Like, how are you going to dust yourself off and be like, how am I willing to show up for myself right now?
facts, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, time time is not gonna wait on no man. Enjoy, what's in front of you. A lot of people look, that's in front of them, and um, enjoy life. It's too short. Like, and I really didn't the phrase of that um till a couple years ago. When people, and to me, it was like, yeah, life is short. People dying, but like, look, make a difference in your community. Make a difference in, even if it's just between you and your children, or if you just by yourself, with yourself, but it's 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 a thing of just taking it all in and just going.
Mhm.
That's why I try to stay out of too much out of the news, and too much, just people like, first you heard about this. I'm like, nope, because
Nope.
I'm
Nope, 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 nope.
yeah, I'm controlling my own destiny.
Mm.
I'm over here, and so
Yeah, you're
um,
creating your own kingdom,
yeah, absolutely,
right?
absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. But the older like I tell my friends in my group, we say no matter how old you are, I'm 31, but past 40, 50, 60, like as long as my feet are still moving and my
Mhm.
legs, I still want to grow. I still
Yes.
want to be spontaneous on life, and stuff. So, um, live. live a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really, the key to life, though. Just live, man. And once you know how to do that, everything else is gonna need to. Like, I'm not saying that shit don't happen. Shit
Right.
happens. You feel me?
It's happening all the time.
But yeah, but I feel like when that shit happens, I feel like that's when your faith really basically say, you know what,
Mhm.
how you gonna fold? Are you gonna fold? You gonna basically call it quits? You gonna end? You
Mhm.
gonna go through these years just like, man, like hell no,
Mhm.
not anymore. We all like, all right, fuck it. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's done. It's over. But your gift and know how strong you really are,
Mhm.
how you can really just eat that shit away in silence and just just keep going. If that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah,
So,
totally. I mean, I feel like it's so funny because I think about where I'm at now in my life, and, like, for sure it was craziness, like, in the beginning. Um,
hmm
for sure it was, like, definitely always drama, always something going on, and it wasn't even necessarily, like it wasn't even a lot of drama, but for sure, like, we were trying to survive. We were trying to survive, and there was always something that there was a hurdle of, trying to put food on the table, trying to show up at work, trying to, like, act like everything's fine, and trying to show up and be a bad biddy, and try to, like, be a good mom and everything, and, trying to pay bills, and it always felt like there was something going on. It always felt like there was definitely huge trials and tribulations constantly. Um, but I look back, I'm like, I always had faith. I always had faith. I always showed up in the greatest capacity that I could, and I always like just knew that I could depend on myself. I always knew that. I always felt that. And oh, all right. Well, unfortunately, we lost Krishna, and I just want to say thank you, Krishna. I know that you're having issues with his phone. He kept getting phone calls because they're in the middle of a big deal right now that they're trying to close today, but he still made time to hang out with me, catch up. And Krishna, I can't wait to catch up again. I love you, brother. You have been with me through a long road, and I with you. So I'm so happy that we can stay connected. If you are watching this for the first time, I want you to please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It definitely helps me out. It helps us out, helps everybody out because, I'm trying to create videos and create experiences where we can ultimately learn from each other in really chill, cool ways. The reality is that we've all got interesting stories. We've all done interesting things. We've all fucked up. We've all done something terrible. Right? We've all done something that we're ashamed of. But the reality is that we're all also growing, and we're all low key inspiring somebody out there. And so please think about supporting us by hitting that subscribe button, hitting that follow button, whatever it is, wherever you are. And thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. I love you. You are amazing. You are awesome. You are already perfect. And you got this. We got this. All right. Talk to you guys later.